Hi, this is Rachel Stewart, and you're with Riding Shotgun. Welcome back. So much is going on in Ireland that you may not be hearing about. You'll be hearing the sanitised version if you're still bothering with the mainstream media, but I suspect you're not because you're here. I've covered the problems in Ireland before, notably rampant illegal migration, but this is a new fight and it's in full passionate swing as we speak. So, what is going on? Well, taking a leaf out of Canada's trucking protest during COVID, the Irish truck drivers, farmers, fishers, and ag contractors have gridlocked major arterial routes, ports, blockaded Ireland's only oil refinery in County Cork. At least they have one, as well as fuel depots in Limerick and Galway with massive trucks, tractors, and machinery to make the point to the government that the recent hikes in gas prices need to be balanced with a drop in fuel tax. While Irish ministers were busy denigrating their actions and calling them wrong and a threat to national security and critical supplies, the public appear to be with them, according to recent polls conducted in the last few days. The protesters stress that they are struggling to make any profits, and while the government has responded by dropping a few cents off per litre, they've also responded with naked state violence, which, as we all know, never improves the situation. It just hardens resolve and recruits more citizens to the cause. They even called in the army at one point. And if you know your history, the Irish don't need any lessons on how to rise up. It's in their DNA. Here's a popular podcaster and tradie, John McGrath, who never records anything remotely political, putting his view out there. And this kind of stuff makes a difference.
Hey guys, let's talk about the fuel protests.
Okay guys, so politics. I don't do that on my channel. I've never done any political commentary on my channel whatsoever, and I don't intend to going forward. But I just have to add my voice here because I am a businessman. I do work for myself. I am an electrician. I'm affected by everything that's going on here as well. I just want to lend my support to what the protesters are doing. I'm fully behind these guys, the farmers and the hauliers and everybody else, because we're all suffering. And I wasn't going to make a video until I saw the Irish government's response to it, which I don't find surprising, but it's completely tone deaf. What Micheál Martin and Simon Harris have said, utterly, they couldn't have had a worse response. And for Jim O'Callaghan, the Justice Minister, to come out yesterday and say that these people are being influenced by other people online outside the country is just absolutely for the birds. That was just a mudslinging tactic, which I thought was absolutely disgraceful. We're being influenced, or these farmers and hauliers have been influenced by the cost of energy, just like everybody else in Ireland. Everybody is struggling. Now, the Iran war is not the government's fault, but the response to it is their fault. And they've been heaping taxes on fuel and carbon taxes on fuel for decades now. And they're asking us to do more with less, while they do less with more. And we all know the debacle about the children's hospital, the bike sheds, and the waste of money and everything else. And I think this is the straw that has broke the camel's back, really. So, again, I don't want to do politics. I'm already getting worked up talking about it because it affects us all. I'm in business for myself, and I see what's going on, and just the inept response from the government, I think, is absolutely shocking. So, yeah. I support the protesters and what they're doing. I hope there's a resolution today. I hope it's good to see that they're beginning to let some of the fuel out of the refineries. That's a good thing. I think you have to keep the public on side. You have to make sure that there's fuel gets out there for emergency services and all that, and that people can get to and from work as best as you guys can facilitate it. But, I just want to lend my voice, my support to what you're doing. And, I hope to God the government's response to this isn't heavy-handed. I hope they don't send in the army or the guards and start shifting these guys on or trying to punish them in some way. Again, Jim O'Callaghan's comments today about taking away their licenses or affecting their insurance or bringing criminal acts against them, I think, again, is just absolutely for the birds and shows just how tone deaf they are. And I would suggest that if they go down that road, that we, the tradespeople of Ireland, down tools and join the protests as well, because that's just how I feel about it now. We might just need to do that. It might come to it. I hope it doesn't. I hope it all gets resolved. I hope everybody sees sense and we can all get back to normal. But this government does not fill me with optimism. I'll just put it to you that way. Anyway, guys, best of luck to everybody. I hope this gets resolved soon. And good luck.
And of course, the usual casual denigration of the protesters, even of individuals, has been carried out by the usual lackeys. Here's the ever-reliable Guardian right on cue. For one, there were speakers at the fuel protest in Dublin known for promoting anti-immigrant conspiracies as well as for misogynist, violent rhetoric, such as talking about Irish women needing to breed more. It emerged that one of the protest spokespeople has convictions for cruelty and neglect of farm animals. Yeah, okay, does that throw the whole thing out? I don't know. And how true is it? But anyway, this is how they get ahead of it. Where have we seen this kind of stigmatisation before? Ask the Canadian truckies about these tactics used on them. Ask the Wellington mandate protesters too. Ireland's reliance on fossil fuels to run their economy, just like the rest of the world, is hugely exacerbated by the Irish government currently taking over 57% of the price of petrol and 48% of the price of diesel in tax. That's off the charts. In response to the pressure a few days ago, the Irish government announced a support package to try to end the standoff, despite a suite of measures, including a relatively tiny reduction of only a few cents in their own tax take on fuel and deferring an upcoming carbon tax increase. The protesters say it doesn't address the underlying structural issues of fuel pricing. So the disruption continues and will continue. The Irish media have come in for huge criticism from many commentators who are not mainstream. Generally, their state broadcaster RTE and the Irish Times have consistently backed the government line, of course, and going so far as to consistently ask why the government didn't crack down on the protesters earlier and harder. So much for caring for the working people who provide their food and bring it to them. The media also provides amplification of certain Irish politicians opining about outside influences being part of the problem. Here's the government's Justice Minister doing the dirty work of guilt by association.
I would ask people involved in the protests to cease their protests. They've made their point. Government has heard the point that they've made, but it's now clearly the case that considerable damage is being inflicted to Irish people and to the Irish economy. And I'd ask them to stop their protests now. When you look online at present, you can see that many outside actors are seeking to manipulate these people for their own purposes. I see Tommy Robinson in the UK referring to and relying upon these protests to advance his own political measures. So I think we need to recognise that people are being manipulated here, and we need to bring an end to these protests.
Again, it's the new playbook of left-wing governments around the world. Claim it's the far right stuffing up everything rather than taking any accountability for what they are doing. Think Labor and Chris Hipkins here. It's cheap, it's dirty, and it's effective. But look at this numpty speaking of being terrified of her own nation's flag. She wouldn't know her ass from her elbow. Somehow she's mixed out of control immigration with the fuel protesters. I mean, how do these idiots get elected?
I didn't attend any of those protests, and the reason why I didn't, it was overtook by the far right. It was overtook by the far right. We had a lot of hard-working people first come out and the protesters. But look, for me, where I see the Try flag, I'm terrified to be part of. I'm terrified to be part of any protest where I see a Try flag. That's an absolute disgrace in the country as a public representative, afraid to go to any protest where there's a Try flag. So much hatred out there towards people from migrant backgrounds, and yet we have a health system that's barely standing. And it wouldn't be standing, I've said this numerous times, if we didn't have migrant workers in our hospitals. That's something that we should all be highlighting to the far right, and it boils my blood to even waste a second in talking about these people who are just spreading hate, rumours, lies. I don't even know what I have, if I was a TD, would I have supported a vote of no confidence in the government? I don't know. But I'll tell you what I do know. The government needs to support ordinary families in this country. Genuinely needs to support not just the ones that get up at 4 a.m. in the morning and get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, for everybody.
UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer uses the tactic relentlessly, especially around immigration. Former Canadian PM Justin Trudeau tried it about the truckers during COVID, calling them racists and misogynists, and he said basically the same thing about anyone who wouldn't take the jab. Nice guy. Bottom line is this: if you don't support these globalist puppet governments 100%, then you are all of these hurty words. One can only hope the people see through the rhetoric more and more and more, because Ireland's woes are the world's woes, and the usual suspects have not let a decent crisis, as in the war against Iran, go to waste. This looks, smells, and feels like another opportunity to take away our freedoms and increase their power over us. The peasants. But I've said it before and I'll say it again. The peasants have a penchant for rising up. What do you think pitchforks were invented for? Thanks for watching. I think you'll enjoy this last bit. Catch you next week.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street. There's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. You've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
You be proud, guards. Guards, if I rang for a guard, you wouldn't come for fucking 2 days. We were robbed several times to ring for a guard. There are the guards to be got in this country. Now here you are now, putting those fucking working men on the ground. You fuck off home and get a better job for yourself. I need your fucking wages.
So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore. I want you to get up right now. Get up, go to your windows, open them, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore. Then we'll figure out what to do about the depression and the inflation and the oil crisis. But first, get up out of your chairs, open the window, stick your head out and yell and say, I'm as mad as hell and I'm not going to take this anymore. You've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.